You're listening to the Unpenned Show with Paul and Andy, broadcasting live around the world. We believe freedom is free. It is enslavement that you're paying for. If you ain't mad by now, you're not paying attention.
We are live on Blog Talk Radio and simulcasting on Awake Radio as well. Good evening, welcome to the show. My name is Paul Rippon.
And my name's Andy.
We are live Tuesday, the 18th of June 2013. Remember to do the date this week.
You did.
Okay, here we go again. And this is our 2 hours to shout and try and poke people in the eye. Why are we here? To try and drag people out of Neverland.
Yes.
This is the never-ending rabbit hole that people talk about.
Yes,
You're
it
in
is.
it. You're in it. It's disguised. It's called an internet or a web. Mm-hmm. But it's a rabbit hole.
It is.
And you get deeper and deeper and deeper. And you're not realising. Because you ain't on the pier going on a level, are you? You're going down and down and down and down. Welcome to the show. So hopefully everybody is picking us up well, and summer is here, and today has been one of our better days. I've had a good visit today for the Environmental Health Officer. Tell you more about that in shows to come. I've actually recorded it as well. But every week we get a little bit more serious. We try and get serious.
We do.
It's a light-hearted, serious show to poke people in the eye. Week after week after week, I try and think, how can I make a show that people are not going to be too embarrassed, and I need your help to do it. It's not my show, it's our show. This is the Unpenned Show with Paul and Andy, isn't it?
It is.
And how can we, or I, or you, or me, or us, or whatever, how can we make a show that you won't be embarrassed to play to somebody who doesn't understand this stuff? Mm. It's a real problem, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Because you and I are so used to speaking like this that we don't realise how different it sounds in outside company.
Until you're in outside company, yeah.
Because we live in a duality, and the duality occurs everywhere, on every level, in all conversations. Right down to who you are at home and the person that your persona is when you step outside the front door.
Yep.
Because for most people, it is two different people.
It is.
The person you are at home is not the person you go out dressed to do your stage act with. And your stage act is whatever just over broke you have. Because that's what the keepers, isn't it? This is a just over broke system.
Yep.
But this duality never ends at all. It just carries on and on and on. Good and evil, dark and light, black and white, up and down. Everything's got its opposites. And it works generally well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
But the duality that I'm talking about is, when we sit and talk to ourselves, we get it. But when we talk to other people, they look at us like we're aliens. They do. And when you look at the definition of aliens, they're sort of halfway there, aren't they?
I suppose they are, yeah.
Because if you look at the dictionary definition of aliens, you'll find 5 to 6 different explanations of the word alien. One of them's a legal term, isn't it?
It is.
But only one of those definitions is an extraterrestrial being. The other 5 apply to on-planet entities.
To do that, yeah.
People and law. Aliens.
Yes.
But we get focused on, well, not me and you.
No.
Looking up in the sky, and they look up in the sky, and what's happening when we're looking up? They're pulling our bloody pants down, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're pulling our pants down. How many years have we been told to look up in the sky and see what you can see?
Yeah.
What's to see in the sky?
Waiting for something to arrive. Something or some entity.
It is our show, the Unpenned Show. We do 3 or 4 segments. We spread it out about an hour and a half, don't we?
Yeah.
The segments are we just split it up by playing a couple of tunes, don't we? And this ain't a scene, it's a goddamn arms race. That was our first song. I do love that song. Because the songs clearly tell us, don't they? There is no doubt in my mind that the songs do tell us, but we don't hear it. It's the children, isn't it? It's the children in us that we just want entertaining, don't we?
We do, yeah.
I mean, in our Oceanic code, we are the fish. We like to think we're the fishermen, but we're not really. We're the fish.
Yes.
They feed off us. We don't feed off anything else, do we?
No.
We just feed off each other. And this is a big fish game, isn't it? This is a big fish game. If you put a big fish into a fish tank with lots of little fish, over a period of time, the little fish will start disappearing, won't they? Because the big one keeps hoovering them up and no one's looking.
It does, yeah.
It doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And I know that from my own... Years ago, my mother used to have a great big 50-pence shaped fish tank. Probably about a 400-gallon tank. It was about 5 foot tall. And somebody said, I've got a cold water, I can't remember what it's called, some sort of big fish, a bottom cleaner fish type thing. Would you take it off me? And she did. She put it in the tank, and he was a welcome addition. 6 weeks later, there was no fish left, except him. Just him. So we are feeding off each other, aren't we? This parasitic system applies to us as well.
It does, yeah.
It actually applies to how we get along. Because the parasitic system is the financial system that we live in, where we have to actually feed off each other. It's called a service industry, isn't it?
Yeah.
With this nation's economy is now about an 80% service industry, which doesn't sound too bad until you realise that means that we're actually we're fighting with each other. Yeah, not for the services, but for the money to have the services that we want.
Yeah.
We are quite organised this evening. How many news stories? We can actually count the news stories, right? Because let's have a little bet with each other. I have on my side of the room, 3, 5, 7, 9. I got 11, 12. I'm into the middle of TV. I've got 13 news stories my side. How many you got?
I've got 2, 4, 6, 7.
So 2 to 1 to me then.
Yes.
So 20 combined, yeah? What do you think? 4?
We'll probably get
4,
5,
5,
possibly. Yeah.
Right, over the weekend I have been to, I've seen Oblivion. Right, the film Oblivion, Mr. Tom Cruise's latest epic. Good film. Good film. The films are certainly showing us what the future could be in 60 or 70 years. And I wonder, do we really... I mean, I meet many people who say, yeah. The films are pre-programming. They are the future that we could have. And it's almost sent for our approval. And all films have been sent for our approval over the years, haven't they?
Yep.
And we watch the films, and at the childlike level, we actually just decide if we like them or we don't. Now, when you look at the movies and the top 10 movie downloads and the top 10 DVDs and the top 10 cinema releases, there's a lot of horror stuff in there, isn't there?
There are, yeah.
And we appear to like it because otherwise they wouldn't be in the top 10, would they? Because the filmmakers are in the business of making money.
Yeah.
All right, they're always in the business of making money. They're getting very good at it as well. But they have to give us films that we actually want to go see. Now, we've come a long way backwards down the line of evolution, because if you said to your grandma or your great-grandma, if you could imagine that you have one, if you don't, if you said to your great-grandma that your great-grandson his greatest joy at 10 or 11 years old is waiting for the new Xbox or PS4 release, he'll actually queue up, in the middle of the night to get the release, to be the first. He'll pay 20, 30, 40, whatever these releases cost. He will pay it, and he'll go home, and and this game usually involves shooting things, mostly people. And he goes home and he spends hours in his bedroom, mostly alone, learning the cheats and ways of shooting people and beating the enemy that's been put in front of him.
Yep.
And he does it alone, in the dark, late at night. Your great-grandma would say he's sick.
Yeah,
there's something wrong with that lad.
Something wrong with him, yeah.
You're poisoning his mind. It's not normal, that, is it? It's not bloody normal. But now it is. Now it is. Now somehow we have an entire society of parents who appear to believe that's absolutely fine. And do you know why? Because that's what they spend their time doing. You know, I mean, I have actually criticised men for absolutely years and years and years. And that finally gets us on to 9:14. News story number 1. Would you say this... Remember, anybody who wants to argue about these news stories with us, please go right ahead. We won't be arguing back. All right, we didn't write them.
No.
We don't profess the truth, but we look at what's been created for us to look at, and then we look at the reaction that's achieved from creating this.
Yeah.
Just like the films. The films are made and created for us to go and approve, disapprove, whatever. Because what we see in those films can leave a lasting impression on us. And that impression is the impression we do when we say, I saw that film, and then you do an impression of it. Whether it's, I want to tell you a story, or busy. Doesn't matter who you're impressed by. But when you're impressed by them, you end up doing an impression of them. Whether you buy the shoes, the trousers, the T-shirt, the baseball cap, the video game, the DVD, it doesn't matter what it is. They've made an impression on you because you are mirroring what they've done. You're copying, pasting and associating yourself with it.
Yep.
I mean, I have read some press about Superman 3 has already made its money back just through the marketing. Just through the marketing, without the film even getting to the cinema. It's already made its money back through merchandising. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. But it's an example of what I mean about copy and paste. I mean, Superman is just a modern-day god, isn't it?
Yeah.
All of these wonderful superheroes are just the childish gods of our time. They're just the... Children look up and think, oh, I want to be like that. And they put the because all superheroes have what in common? They wear...
a cape.
They all wear a cape, don't they?
Yeah.
Now, the capability, or the ability of the cape, because most of our words are spun, aren't they? They're spun so we see them differently. When you stand in front of a mirror at home, try this at home by all means. Stand in front of a mirror and put your right hand on your left shoulder. Now look in the mirror. Which shoulder is your hand on? Because the duality works, doesn't it? Which you are you? Because if you're the person that is stood looking into the mirror, it's still on your left shoulder. But now assume the person's identity looking back at you and stand in their shoes. Now it's on your right shoulder.
It's on your right now, yeah.
Now it's on your right shoulder. And this is how the duality spins things. It shows us a mirror of what we think is reality, and we accept it to be so. And we are playing the mirror image of ourselves. We're playing the man in the mirror, the hall of mirrors, and we think it's us. But we're not, because it's what we're being made to be. But we still feel it's us. We've had no part in creating the hall of mirrors that we're asked to walk down. And we still think it's us when we're actually watching the person in the mirror. Because the person in the mirror is taking strides and we're following them. We're following our alter ego that wants what the mirror has promised. Mirror, mirror on the wall. And what's it promised you? Has it promised you a good time? Has it promised you a wrinkle-free face? Has it promised you health, wealth and happiness if you give me your money now? What has it promised you, the mirror? Because the mirror's sucking you in, isn't it? Yeah. That's what's going on. Let's get back... I'm going to do it. New story number one. New story, yeah. New story number one. Right, here we go. New story number one. Women mature apparently at 32 and men at 43. What do you think? There's plenty of evidence out there.
I was going to say, yeah, from some of the T-shirts that the guys wears and stuff like that, you just think, oh, that'd look good on my 14-year-old son.
I've done that before. Are you wearing your kids' clothes? I do that to girls more than boys. When the girls get the purses out with the pink fluffy bits and the little, the sort of little brooches they're wearing and the little princess tattoos. Have you been stealing off your daughter?
Yeah, no.
But
it's scary.
Yeah, apparently the new reality is that women mature at 32 and men mature at 43. This isn't a given, by the way. This isn't a given that men mature at 43, because I have plenty of evidence that that may not be true in all cases. But that's the average. The average. Let's have a look at the faults. You see, women don't have any faults in this new story. They're 32 and sorted.
Yeah.
But this is about the faults of grown men. Which I don't believe those two things should go together. Grown men.
Oh.
It's a bit like pure evil, isn't it? Or genuine copy. But let's go with it anyway, right? There are a number of faults listed there. Let's have a look. Where's that snort come from? Let's have a look. There's a number of faults there. True or false in your opinion, or our opinion?
I'm just reading through it now, trying to find them, the list of faults that we've got there. Oh, here we are on the left. Finding their own wind and burps hilarious.
Yeah. Agreed. I think, in fact, do you know what I think? I think the MPs, right, in the House of Pain, I think they're probably the most childish of all of us. Because they've no experience of real life, have they? The nanny's been wiping their ass till they were 4.
Ooh, longer than that, I think.
4. And then they get into the boarding school and the hierarchy of the showers. And there it is. I mean, if I go back to school And if I was still mixing with the schoolyard, or my school year in the schoolyard, the hierarchy would still exist. Because it does.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
That hierarchy doesn't change, does it?
No, we never leave the school place.
Because we've seen, I've been to school reunions, and you're still like, oh, I never liked him at school. Oh, I've had some battles with that one. It still exists. It does. So, laughing and joking at their own farts and thought, yes, I know that, yeah.
Eating fast food at 2 a.m.
Oh, I could be guilty of that from years gone by.
Yes.
I'm not so bad now.
No,
I can't stay up to 2 a.m. now.
No,
I'm
it's
too bloody old.
when you'd been out with a skinful for your mates and the
Yeah.
nightclub had shut and,
I might have just scraped under the fence at 43, to be honest. I did take a long time to stop going out till 2 o'clock in the morning. But I can't make it anymore now. About half 10, 11 o'clock, I'm fighting back. You're fighting back.
Bad enough.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
Playing video games.
Yeah, over that.
Yeah, no, I never really got into that anyway. Could never afford them.
Space Invaders, though, was alright. But that was 1979.
I was still in my school
Remember
uniform
that?
then.
1511, then the spaceship came across, 500, 15. Look, let's go on.
Racing another car at the lights. I've grown out of that one.
I've got a bloody Ford Galaxy. I could probably race a Reliant Robin.
I could never run fast enough anyway.
No, you're absolutely right. Go ahead.
Sniggering at rude words.
Well, I always think that the childish jokes that people tell, I have it here sometimes when I'm on a bit of a rant in the shop, and some people say, "Are you all right, lad? Are you all right? You're all doom and gloom. Let me tell you a joke." And it's for 15-year-olds, and these people are 55, 65 years old, and they tell me schoolyard ridiculous humour jokes
That you know the punchline to anyway, because you've heard them all before. Driving while playing loud music. No, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, but we're just going through wearing the wrong clothes, and yeah, it's true though, isn't it? It is. I was only asking it really few because we are children. We're forever children.
Yeah.
And we're happy being children. We are actually happy. We're okay with it. I've asked a number of people, are you okay with life as it is? You have to work doing something mundane all day, then you come home and your rewards are whatever you want them to be, whether it's listening to music, whether you're musical and you play it, or whether it's driving your car or walking your dog, getting involved in your hobby, doing your gardening, washing the car, whatever it is, are you okay with life? And it does appear most people are okay in a way that they don't have an ability to say, but what would I do if I didn't do this? You see, the gate's closed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's not got a lock on it. It's just that we don't want to go adventuring out of the pen. This is called Unpenned because we want to go and wander out of the pen. We want to go for a wander around and see what everybody else is up to.
Yeah, look at the wider world.
But most people are okay. I mean, you can't get them to... Well, you can get them to admit, but you can't get them involved in a conversation that says, but we're poorer than the last generation, and the one behind us is going to be even poorer than we are now. We should actually realise that we are being made poor by design.
Yep.
And they say, yeah, but then they want to change the conversation. They want to change it because they know that you're luring them into the...
They don't want to accept
I've got to admit this is true.
Yeah.
One news story done. Right, are we a nation of toy soldiers? Certainly are toy soldiers there. Segment number 2, Tuesday the 18th of June 2013 with Paul and Andy, the Unpenned Show, live on Blog Talk and Awake Radio. So good evening, however you're listening. If he's on YouTube the day after, my thanks to Phil, our VT editor. He edits the show, puts it up on YouTube, and it's there for you to do what you want with. Please share it, please download it, do whatever you want with it. But there is one proviso, isn't there?
Yep.
Don't cut it up. Don't cut it up and make me say something that I didn't say.
No.
I do know in today's modern technology, you can splice and cut and make me say things I didn't say.
You can,
Let's get down to some nitty-gritty, shall we?
Yep.
Why are we having no joy? Well, I'll tell you my opinion. And this is just an opinion, but it's a valuable one to me because it's taken me a long time to form it. Why are we having no joy? It's because our gurus on the internet here, and there are many of them, that we met them 5 and 6 years ago. We've got Santos, we've got Tsarian, we've got Jones, we've got Ike, we've got many more, haven't we? Everybody finds one they like the flavour of, and they listen and they learn what they want to from that.
Yeah.
But does it have any value? Well, this is where we get to the crux of the matter, isn't it? We've actually been doing this, 5 years plus now. And we've been through every single maze, rat run, roller coaster, uphill, down. We've recognised the problems, haven't we?
I've even had tears.
And plenty of them. I'm going to come across to Saturday night for me last week, but we'll come to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But the reason why we're still here is really simple. Because all these new systems, and I'm guilty of doing this, all these new systems that we can create in our heads make perfect sense to our followers. They listen to the systems that we can create hypothetically. And in Neverland, the land of virtual reality, the internal network, it sounds as if we could do it. In the church of the internet, whichever crowd you're preaching to, you say, I was listening to this weekend, I listened to doesn't matter. I listened to a speaker, a well-known speaker. I'm not going to say who it is because people will think we're trying to divide, and we're not. We're not trying to divide. Everybody else does that. I listened to a speaker this weekend, and I'm going to try not to give away who it is because I don't want to make an enemy. I've got enough of those without trying. Yeah. Enemies are sure easy to make, aren't they?
Yeah,
friends are bloody hard to keep. But in the show, it went a bit like this. What we need to do is we need to find like-minded people, so far so good, that can invest with us. And they'll invest with us, and we can buy farms, and we can buy houses, and we can create an economy and loan to ourselves and help ourselves interest-free. We can create our own economy, grow our own food, still using their money so we can pay the bills that we have to. And it sounds great when you listen to the show. But take it out into reality. Take it out into the real world. Who's going to give you...
Try and find that investor.
Yeah. I mean, there are radio stations and plenty of little satellite radio stations around who have a donate button. I know it costs to do this. I know there is a broadcasting cost to it.
Yeah.
I'm aware of what it is. It doesn't matter. There's a cost. And on these radio stations, there's a donate button. Well, nobody does. Nobody does. And do you know why they don't donate? Because they're bloody skinned. Because the people who figured this out have hit rock bottom. They got no rocks left.
No.
They got no bloody money left. That's why we need to find we need to find investors. Where bloody from?
Where from? Yeah.
Where bloody from? If you've got enough money to invest, you've bought and paid for your house already.
Yeah, you're pretty much sorted.
And this has been broadcast to people who've got no bloody money. Right? This is ridiculous. It sounds great. In virtual reality, the people sat at home listening alone, worrying about the gas bill, worrying about the electric bill. Oh, if only. But it's not going to happen. Because the first line, we need to find some investors. Go on then. Then we can take the conversation forward. There is no investors.
No.
They've got no bloody money left. Those that have got money left, it's a damn sight easier to turn 10 million into 11 million than it is to turn 100 quid into 110.
Yeah.
Exactly. People have got no money at the bottom have got no bloody money. It does get to you in the end, doesn't it?
It does,
because
yeah.
these are good people.
They are good people,
you know,
yeah.
Are they trying to... I don't know what they're trying to do. But are they trying to help? Well, it would appear that those that are listening to are getting something for it. They're getting something from it. They're getting a little bit of hope, a little bit of, we can do this, we can. But we can't do it by listening to one guy coming up with a utopia that isn't actually possible. Right? If you've got money, you ain't investing in this part of the system. You're actually buying houses or buying gold coins or buying businesses. Because you know survival's the key if you've got plenty of money.
Yeah.
If you've got no money, it's looking to somebody else to help you survive.
Yeah,
You know, the slaves at the bottom are grasping at straws that aren't being offered by people above them. They're being offered by people who are skint as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are offering the straws are either successful business people or say they're successful business people.
Yeah.
Because I've come to the conclusion that there are three things that live in the web. A spider, lies, and deceit. And not much else. Now, we'll get people saying, truth lives in webs. There's truth in here. Do you know there is? But by God, you've got to sift some shit, haven't you?
You have, yeah.
I mean, this is gold digging.
Yeah.
Because this thing is not the spy who loves you. This is the spy who pretends to love. This spy doesn't love you at all. This is a spy in our own houses, in our very own houses. We invite it in, we give it pride of place, we polish it, we plug it into brand new equipment, and we think it's here to help us. This naivety's got to stop, hasn't it?
Yep.
This level of naivety has got to bloody well stop. I've listened to the internet time and time and time and time again. There are loads of good people, all at different levels. Studying the law, studying the banking, studying the food system, studying the medical system, studying everything.
Yep.
The psychology, the sociology. Right? They're all studying and studying and studying. But they all want paying.
Yeah.
They all want paying for the time in giving you stuff that isn't going to pay your electric bill. It's not going to pay your gas bill. It's not going to pay your water bill.
No.
You join the lawful bank. You get in with the you get lawful whatever it is. Right? You can't pay your bloody bills with it.
No.
Right? Deal with the problem you've got today instead of pretending that someone's going to help you solve it tomorrow. It's not going to happen.
Nope.
Right? If we don't actually accept that the problem is staring at us, they live in the house of pain. Right? They are professional liars. All of them know. But we're here today now. We're here, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
We're here. We've been saddled with a debt that doesn't belong to us by a global banking system that is determined to bankrupt our society.
Us all. Yeah.
It's already bankrupted us emotionally. Look around. Look around. These are broken bloody people.
There are people committing suicide over it, aren't there? This is where they've got us to.
Yeah, but broken bloody people, right?
Yeah.
Broken people. People do desperate things when they're broken.
They will, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to upset people. But I can't blow sunshine up your bloody ass anymore.
No.
All right. The fault lies fairly and squarely with us.
It does.
We are the approaching 50-year-old dinosaurs.
Yes.
I stick my hand up. I was ignorant. I am part of the problem.
Yeah.
Now I've recognised it's me that's part of the bloody problem. I know where the problem lies. It's my inaction. It's my ignorance.
Yeah.
It's my lack of intelligence. It's my lack of desire, of fire, of communication skills, ambition. I didn't, but I want, I try.
Yeah.
We do it.
I've dug my hole and I'm just busy trying to fill it back in.
That's right.
And filling it in's really hard because I can't reach up to the muck that I've dug out.
Yeah, but you can't climb a mountain until you fill the bloody hole in.
No, that's it.
There is a mountain to climb.
Yeah.
But you've got to realise you're in a bloody big hole. It's
yes.
a big black hole. They talk about black holes. We're in one.
Yeah.
And this is the rabbit hole that's taken us down and down and down and down.
Yeah.
And we're okay with it. I mean, look at these headlines around here. We can get through them all in one go here. Look at the sickness that we have in the world. Right? I mean, Greece doesn't matter about Greece, youth unemployment 60%.
Yeah.
Spain, youth unemployment 50%.
50%, yeah.
France, youth unemployment approaching 25-30.
Italy, Portugal,
UK,
Ireland.
youth unemployment approaching 25-30%.
Yeah.
And we still sit here.
Yeah.
We still sit here. Right? I'm okay. I'm all right. I'll be all right. Let's get our children into 40 or 50 grand's worth of debt.
Yeah.
Right? For a degree that will eventually, if you're lucky, get you a bloody job at McDonald's.
Yes.
Laugh at me. Do your research. McDonald's are asking for degree graduates to work at McDonald's. Will that be the only places? Of course it won't be the only bloody places doing it.
No.
These big corporations are taking over our schools. Do some research. We've got over 5,000 unqualified teachers working in academies. Well, what are they doing? They're not teachers. Well, they must be there for another reason then. Well, of course they are. They're sent there by private corporations to look for and recruit and indoctrinate the next generation of slaves. The problem lives in Westminster and is supported by the people's ignorance.
It does, yeah. The government at the moment are on about performance-related pay. If the politicians were on, if they were on performance-related pay, they'd be owing us money.
But they are on performance-related pay.
Yes, I know.
Not from us.
But not, no.
They're called bribes.
From the bribes.
They're called bloody bribes.
From the lobbyists.
There is a clip that I want to play. Now, I would think most people listening will know who Mark McGowan is. All right, Mark McGowan, the artist taxi driver. And I am very happy to actually support Mark McGowan. I like him. Now, I do have his mobile phone number, and we have spoken, but he doesn't want to do these sort of interviews.
He does his own stuff.
He does his own thing, and he's making his own film.
He does.
This is not a recession, it's a robbery.
Yes.
And I am happy to promote his YouTube channel. It'll be below. Now, he's actually made a YouTube video today with Queen's Counsel. Remember the Queen's Counsel? And he's just put it up today, and this gentleman's name is John Cooper. Now, before you even say anything, Queen's Counsel, he's one of the opposition. He's the I want to play this. I know Mark won't mind. That's why he wants to help, does Mark? He's got his own unique method, but he's got he was on RT last week.
He was, yeah.
He's got John Cooper, Queen's Counsel, to sit in his car and give an interview.
Yeah.
I think I like Mark McGowan. Listen to this interview and we'll talk about it when we get back. Please listen to it.
Right, I'm the artist taxi driver. This, my friends, is John Cooper, QC. A barrister. Queen's Counsel. Right then, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this, but I'm going to start with, what kind of society would take away the people's legal right of representation?
Well, this type of society, that's the problem. The reality is we've got a government in at the moment that actually want to make sure that the likes of you and me, if we've got a legal problem, want to see a lawyer, we're not going to get them unless we can pay some money. The problem with the what's going on at the moment, two words, choice and access. We're being taken choice away from us and access away from us. And only if you can afford it in the future are you going to be able to get a lawyer. And that stinks, in my view. Well,
we've got a corrupt and in my view, it's a corrupt and bankrupt legal system. A legal system that is being run by a kleptocratic government that's only interested in their own power and wealth. How can justice exist?
Well, justice can't exist at the moment. That's what a lot of lawyers are fighting for. You know what? In my 30-odd years doing the law, this is the first time I've seen the legal profession really come together in unity to fight the person I call Failing Grayling, Chris Grayling. The first time we got a lawyer since 1558, a non-lawyer, I should say, since 1558 in this position. Now, look, as far as I'm concerned, if you can do the job and you're not a lawyer, fair enough. I don't come from a privileged background, comprehensive school educated, no lawyers in the family. If you can do the job, I'm up for it. Well, the fact is, this man hasn't a clue what he's doing, and he's dragging this legal system into the dirt. Problem is, once it's dragged into the dirt, it's going to be very difficult to resurrect it again.
I got down here, the government's removed legal aid for employment, housing, family law, debt, social welfare and medical negligence.
And that's just for starters. Look at what else they want to do. Look at judicial review, for instance.
I saw that.
You know, that's the undercurrent at the moment. The big issues, quite rightly so, are fighting criminal legal aid. But judicial review, guess what? It's the one way you can challenge a government decision. And the government don't like that. And they're going to make it very, very difficult for the likes of you and me, anyone that's listening to this, to go out there and challenge a government decision.
So, and also the Law Society estimates that 650,000 cases a year won't qualify for legal aid in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a whole global figure.
How are they doing this? I don't get it.
Well, it's not just qualifying for legal aid. Look at the solicitors' firms that are going to go under. If the system works that Grayling wants to push forward, we're going to have only 400 high street firms left in the country that can provide assistance to the likes of you and me. That's gone down from 1,600.
But, I mean, the employment law, they got a stranglehold on the workers. But you look at things like the NHS, medical negligence. Is this a coincidence that they've done away with legal aid just as the NHS is being privatised?
I think the whole thing needs to be seen as a package together. It's no coincidence they got absolutely no respect. Failing Grayling has absolutely no respect for the ordinary man and woman that needs legal services. Recently, he was asked, well, how can people choose and get a solicitor they can trust? And he said effectively, well, people who are criminals don't really know how the legal system works.
But that's what
he's assuming they're criminals.
But that's what he's did. That's the whole thing. What they throw back at you until it's you. But like this is like. This doesn't exist. How can you have no... You're not allowed legal representation unless it's government assigned. Am I right in saying that they're going to sign someone from G4S, Serco? I've heard some... the Stobarts?
Well, yeah, all that. And the Co-op.
And Tesco's?
Tesco's and the Co-op.
Fucking hell's that? How's Tesco's going to represent you?
Well, you're going to have a problem here with G4S might well be representing you, prosecuting you, and taking you away in the prison van after you've been convicted.
But that don't mean... So the Queen's Counsel, what does that mean, Queen's Counsel?
It's a seniority.
Because the Queen is above the law, isn't she?
This is a bit of a problem for me, I've got to tell you, because I'm not a royalist. But the fact is...
But she's above the law, isn't she?
She is above the law.
She is the law.
Well, she's above the law.
She is God. She's God.
Some people think so, yeah.
Yeah, David Aaronovitch, he said that he saw about when she had her thing the other day, that she's God. He said that she was God.
She's a very busy lady as well, because everyone that's prosecuted is prosecuted by her.
But she's not the only one above the law. David Cameron, right? Listen to this, right? He's got a house in Witney, and next door, Lord Chadlington, who's down the road in the House of Lords, right? He's just bought a bit of land beside it. He hasn't moved in, and he sold David Cameron some of the land. He's a lobbyist. He works for he owns Huntsworth. He sold the land. David Cameron hasn't put it in the book of interest. Where's the legality on that?
It's one law for the rich and one law for the poor, but that's no big change here.
Yeah, but all of that lobbyist, you've got to look at that think tank. Do you know about the Bribery Act 2010?
I do indeed, yeah.
How look at think tanks. Every single one of them should be arrested.
So the problem with the Bribery Act for many people is that a lot of corporations are suddenly realising they've been breaking the law, and they continue to break the law. But the Bribery Act actually is a good thing. The Bribery Act is a good thing, and it's making...
It's never been used.
It's like a lot of good laws.
So banks and corporations, they're above the law, but listen to this, right? This is one, that pig, Ian Duncan Smith, right? You tell me, right, what kind of society allows that man to retrospectively change the law?
Well, he doesn't like laws. I remember being on a debate with him many moons ago.
But how's he allowed to change the law retrospectively?
Well, the fact is, if he's a member of Parliament, he can put an act through, he can do that. But as far as anything else is concerned, he can't. But it's the arrogance of it. It's the arrogance of some of these people who think they can change the law, who think they're above the law. But you know what the real problem is here, is that people aren't standing up. I went to a rally recently outside the House of Commons, and I was looking actually at something you did earlier on. It was about...
Why is it? Because people don't care?
No, it was about the union knighthoods.
Yeah.
The people should be screaming out. People should have actually be representing working people. And I totally agree with what you said there. And the fact of the matter is, despite us going and doing what we did, the Solicitors Association, people are not really waking up at the moment as to what's happening. And if nothing else...
That's a Queen's Council saying that. You listen to this, man.
And if nothing else, the one thing that I really would like to get out here, anyone looking at this, if you don't fight to save legal aid now, it will be gone, and it'll be gone forever. And it's no use saying, oh, well, it doesn't affect me. It will affect you, or it could affect you. Let me give you an example. I don't know, you go out for a night, perfectly innocent person, you get mixed up in a fight, you're defending yourself. The police see you as the aggressor. You are charged. You are going to need legal representation.
You ain't going to get it.
Well, you're not going to be able to afford it. So it's an absolute disgrace.
Look at that employment. Say you're at work and you lose your arm and you think it's your company's fault. You can't get legal aid for that now.
It's very difficult to legal aid for that, unless, of course, the only way you can go to law now is if you've got the money. And the fact is...
That's why Nick Cohen said, without money, most people will not go to court, and those with power to harm or control them will be emboldened.
Shall I tell you something else about the money as well? It's a slightly different angle on the argument. Particularly in the criminal law, a lot of young barristers coming into it now from all sections of society. As I say, I come from a perfectly normal working class background. A lot of barristers, particularly the criminal law, are doing that. And the reason they can do that is because they've got an average decent amount of earnings. Nothing grand, but a decent amount of earnings. So they can support themselves, pay off their student loans. What's happening now is that people that don't have a private income, people that aren't publicly funded...
So they're self-employed?
People who have kind of family wealth can actually survive. But what you're going to find out now is that all the barristers are going to turn into some moneyed, tough section of society, and all the decent people from society with a background of a generally egalitarian background aren't going to be able to afford
But that's the rich have all the justice that they can afford.
Well, they
have all the justice they can afford.
Well, if we're not careful, we're going to have the rich having all the justice they can afford, and the rich actually being all the barristers.
But the thing is you, like what you said, you're going to end up getting arrested. You're going to be too poor to pay. You're going to be guilty.
Yeah, no, indeed. If you
that's it. You're guilty.
A lot of lawyers at the moment, including myself and many others, are working for no fee. We were discussing a little earlier the Occupy case I did, for instance. I didn't charge a fee because, you know, some of these things are important to do. Not just the high-profile ones. Sometimes people come, they need legal representation.
But
you can't rely on the lawyers to keep doing charity jobs. They've got to
but what you said about it being the whole package, the privatisation of workers' rights, workfare, minimum wage, no legal representation, it's a complete takeover.
Well, it's also encouraging us all from going to the courts. The only people that are going to afford to go to the courts now are Theresa May, for instance, who recently spent millions of pounds on 3 QCs on a hopeless case against Abu Qatada. Put to one side the rights or wrongs of Abu Qatada. I'm no great fan of his, obviously I'm not. But the money that Theresa May spent, of taxpayers' money, to spend on 3 QCs on a hopeless case over a period of years is outrageous. And yet that same government, with her support, are trying to take that money away from normal men and women who deserve to have it if they need it.
So these pigs that are in power, this government, who are increasing their own wealth, but also their own power. This is about power, isn't it? This is about taking control of anyone that wants to challenge them.
It's going back to the judicial review point, isn't it?
Exactly.
This government, and they're perhaps no different to any other government, don't like to be challenged. And the last thing they want are people getting a little bit...
Are you a Freemason? Are all Queen's Council Freemasons?
No, I'm not.
He's not even a Freemason!
I'm not a Freemason.
Nor on the black and white floor with the centaurs and the Queen with the goat's leg. None of that! None of that!
I'm a wool supporter, if that helps, but you know...
Exactly!
The downtrodden.
I'm the Irish taxi driver, and this, my friends, is the incredible, the one and only John Cooper, QC.
Tell me, why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? We're actually hurting ourselves, aren't we?
We certainly are that.
We're actually doing this to ourselves with our own ignorance.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of where we are today. This is the demise of humanity, and this version of humanity.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs that you and I
They're done with us.
Now, we're done. This
Yeah.
is the end of empathy, of compassion, of emotion, of feeling. It is coming. Well done to John Cooper, QC. Some people are bound to put a little strapline on that.
I hope.
I hope they don't.
I hope they don't.
Listen to what he said.
Yeah.
Listen to what he actually said. You are now guilty unless you can afford to prove yourself innocent.
Yeah.
Now you will do as you're told, because you'll want to keep yourself out of court. Because you are seeing, and are going to continue to see, injustice after injustice, because this is a criminals protection system.
It is.
The CPS.
Yep.
The Criminals Protective Services. And if you want to be a barrister or a lawyer or solicitor, you'll join the nominated representatives. And if you don't, you won't.
Well, you'll be invited to join them, won't you? It'll be
yeah, but what he said
was
is that there's probably going to be about 400 businesses overall.
Yeah, that's all.
Overseeing
down to 400
from 1,600 plus.
Yeah.
Overseeing what we call our judicial system, and by God, we're going to be judged.
Yes.
He said, "Get out, speak out, and do something."
He did.
Our silence is our death.
Our acquiescence, yes.
But it's our death.
Yes, it is.
This is going to kill us.
It is.
And I don't know how to turn it round, but I know I have to keep speaking.
We do.
Trying to turn it around.
We've got to infect the youngsters. They're the people that can change it.
And there it is.
Yes.
There it is, the magic word. It's not for us, the future.
No, we've had
our chance.
We blew it.
And we've pretty much ruined it.
We have, yeah.
We've ruined it. We might have what we need, basically. We might have a house. We might be able to afford our bills.
But
are our children going to thank us for it when it's taken off us for our health care later?
Yeah. Will they turn round to... Will my kids turn around to me and say, why did you let that happen? That's what... And I can see...
And that's the reason why we do these shows. And that's the reason... You see, the people think that we're actually attacking individual people, and we're not.
No.
We try not to do that. But we are attacking the collective ignorance. Because if you know something about this stuff, and you're home alone, with nobody else to talk to about this stuff, you're not doing what you should be doing. Because your job is to teach others.
Yeah.
And if you can't work that out, or if you can't get your message across, let's be blunt, It's because you're not very good at teaching.
No.
If your life's not going well, it's because you don't know how to live it. If things are going badly, it's because you're doing the wrong things. If you aren't in control of what happens next, it's because you've given all your power away and all your energy away. Now stop pretending that's not true when it is true.
It is true, yeah.
If you cannot teach and get other people interested in what you're doing, then you're making it worse. Now, I've had an incident today that I'm going to share in the future. I just need to go through it in my head and share it properly. But today has been a winning day for me. I've won. In my journey, I've done something today that I've never achieved before. And I'll share it when I'm ready to put it into words and do that. But please don't take lightly what I'm actually saying. If you cannot teach people, educate people, and make it attractive to the trouble they're in, are you helping? Or are you making it worse? You see, the internet is a place for broken, failed people to feel successful. This is a place where you can go and be whoever you want to be. You can put your cape and assume any ability you want. The ability of the cape which has controlled us for many years. Who wears capes? Judges.
Yes.
Vicars.
Vicars.
Bishops.
People in authority, yeah.
Lords.
Your headmasters used to wear them.
Yeah. You see, they've got the ability of the cape. They're the modern day superheroes. And all superheroes wear capes. But we say capability, but it's made from two words, isn't it?
It is.
And it's not cape and ability, is it?
No.
It's cap. Ability, isn't it? Because we put on our heads a cap, don't we? And that's as far as you're going, fella.
Yep.
That's your ceiling. You ain't going any higher. You don't belong to the next class up.
No. And if you're in a position of authority, or you've gone into positions of authority, you wear a different cap at a different level, don't you?
But it's still a cape, isn't it?
It's still a cape.
When our kids pass out of university, they wear a cape and a mortarboard.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yep.
They're going to provide the mortar for the builders of society. John Cooper.
Yes.
Well done to him for giving Mark McGowan that interview.
You give him a round of applause.
There was no bullshitting. Well done to Mark McGowan. I don't know how he makes these connections, but I think he makes it by simply doing what he does.
Yes, he does it.
John Cooper says there that he'd heard him talking about other things before.
Yeah.
Mark is a colourful user of language.
He is.
And he gets criticised heavily for it, so I shall not do that.
No, he is who he is. That's who Mark is.
It's who Mark is.
Yeah.
He uses it. But if you listen to that interview, John Cooper said that Group 4 security, or as we're going to try and get people to call it,
yes,
Homeland Security.
Yeah.
That's what it really is.
It is.
If you want to go with the superhero decode, G-Force.
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 Yes.
Okay, G-Force will be your superhero decode. The reality is Homeland Security. That's what's been built. And we've got a headline to prove it.
We have it.
2 stories in an hour.
It's in the Mail
2
online.
stories in an hour.
Warning of a private army run in Britain after government increases spending on security firm G-Force by 65 million quid.
But they're everywhere. I had a police sergeant in the shop 2 weeks ago, and I said what they're doing, and he looked nervous and uncomfortable. Why are you letting G-Force replace you? Why have we got pretend police that wear the police badge on the back, but they're not police?
They're not police.
I'm a sergeant. He's been in there 20-odd years, he said. And he'll be glad when his time's done.
He's got out of it.
Bloody coward.
Yeah.
He might speak up when he's done. But
well...
they're brave enough then, aren't they?
They can't bite the hand that feeds them, can they? I know that it's...
Bite the bloody thing and learn to feed yourself. Learn to feed your bloody self.
I did.
If you want to build a firm foundation, pick the bricks up they're thrown at you and start building.
I got myself... Well, I left before I was sacked.
We'd been bloody bombarded. Pick the bricks up and use them to build.
Because I spoke out when I felt there was a little bit of injustice. And I think that's why I ended up working for myself, because I couldn't stand idiots. I couldn't tolerate working for an idiot telling you to do something that was totally wrong or impractical or a waste of time. And I had to speak out, and I had to open my gob. And my big gob got me... well, I left before I was... You just knew you had to leave. You had to hand your notice in. I'm leaving, I'm off. What are you going to do? I don't know, I'll do something. And that's been my philosophy ever since.
We're a pale shadow of who we think we are, aren't we?
Yeah.
English lions? Bollocks. Bloody pussycats.
Cubs.
Pussycats. Bloody pussycats.
Yeah.
At best, pussycats.
Yeah. But leading into that story as well, government spending 65 million on GeForce. They couldn't even manage the Olympics.
Yes.
So
but don't fall for it.
no, I know. But
Do you remember these stories are created to make us react like this?
they are, yeah.
We're meant to argue not about the story, not about the increase in spending.
No.
About what we know about GeForce. About how shit they are.
Well, yeah. I was just going to say, when we went down to the Bilderbergers, they didn't even search in your bag. They don't even know what a bomb looks like. Come on. But then that links in with the military. They're making a load redundant. Making him redundant. Now, I know there's a lad that lives close by us. He's a friend of my son's, and he's just been accepted into the Navy. So how? And I'm sure there's a law somewhere. Somebody might be able to tell us that you can't make somebody redundant if there's no job there for somebody else to come and take their place. So.
You're using that sixth sense again, aren't you? You're using that sixth sense that isn't widely available. It's not very common, is it?
Not very common, no.
You see, remember, we're the why is guys.
We try to be.
We try and be the why is guys. Of course, you're right. 4,500 army personnel have been made redundant.
Yep.
And the Navy's recruiting.
The Army's recruiting as well.
Yeah, but they're recruiting the new
one.
Set
Yes,
of dumpsters.
Well,
you see, if you look forward to what history is going to give us, then if this country should become, it falls into what you might call not civil war, but riots on the streets. I mean, look at Brazil. Brazil, a cracking turnout. All sparked by putting the local bus fares up.
Yeah, and Turkey.
Turkey, I mean, look at, they're teaching people that this
Egypt,
is what... Well, yeah, we've got a story about Egypt. About 500 million euros just disappearing. But they don't disappear, do they?
No.
I mean, foreign aid's expensive.
Yeah.
Foreign aid is expensive. You have to pay for aid from foreigners. It's not for people like me and you. It's for the aid from foreigners. You give them the money, and then it gets secreted away, and it comes back into this country buying things. It comes back in that these people are buying our infrastructure. The money just disappears. I mean, the European Union hasn't produced accounts now for, 17, 18, 19 years? And they've no intention of ever doing so, because they can't. They can't produce accounts because it's completely corrupt.
Yeah.
People say VAT. Value added tax, right? You ask the majority of people, what do you think about value added tax? The number one response you'll get is, well, it's a stupid name, isn't it? It's actually a stupid name for value added tax. It doesn't add value in a way that it makes it worth more to us. Well, of course it doesn't. It does. It's not for you. Adding value was something that was tax free at one point.
Yes.
If you took something and turned it into something else and you'd added value to it, you didn't get taxed on that.
No.
You got taxed on buying and selling. If you bought a product and sold a product, and it was the same product from what you bought to what you sold, that was the buy and sell. You were taxed on buy and sell. But if you were adding value, you didn't used to get taxed on it. You see? Now you get taxed on adding value. So I turned potatoes and fish into a hot dish called fish and chips. I've added value to the potatoes and the fish, so now they won't pay in. 20%. So 20% cut for the mafia.
Yep.
Yep, all in all, my taxes total, and most people's do, not just mine, 75%. Well, what about 76 and 77 and 80 and 85?
Yeah.
What happens when it gets to 100%?
Well,
because it's going to get there.
It's going to get there.
Whether it's our lifetime or not, I don't know.
No,
I mean, going back to that film Oblivion, good film, by the way, good film. Not epic, not 5-star, but a good film. It shows us what the future might be after a nuclear war. Won't spoil the story, but it does show you the deception that is available. Could work, does work, and probably is working right now. I mean, I remember in the first years when we were discovering the signs, the symbols, the history, the Masons, and we never realised, did we, until maybe a year or two ago. It was just a treasure game, wasn't it?
That's all.
It was just a detective. Yeah. It was Sherlock and Watson, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And you and I were going down the trail, discovering what had been buried for us to find, and we were finding it, uncovering it, recovering it. People say discovering it, but that's negative. And you dig it up and you say, look what I found. And then you got a pat on the head like a faithful dog that you are. Then you go out tomorrow, you go digging some more. They call it researching, but we call it digging. And there it is. Ha-ha, found something else. Well, people never stop doing that. Eventually, they just never get off that, the dog and the dig. Well, you've got to get past that. Because this reality that is virtual reality doesn't work in the real world, does it?
No, it doesn't work there, no.
You tell me, how many people do you speak to openly and confidently about the things you hear on here? Well, you can't, can you? You can't. Because you look a bloody nutcase. You actually look a nut because people say, what are you talking about? I've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to your fairy tales about this and your fairy tales about that. It's not that you're wrong, it's just that you're not living in reality. The internet is Neverland. Where you live, the people that you actually touch and taste and all the things that you can feel and smell and hear and see, that's where you live. And you have to be able to communicate with that reality. Learn to teach. But that involves getting off here and actually doing it. You actually have to get off here, use your own words, engage people, and get them to talk to you.
Yeah.
But they won't.
No, we find that more and more difficult, won't we, don't we, to engage somebody in a...
But we're getting better.
In a conversation.
We are getting better.
Yeah.
We are. I mean, we do have our groups grown in numbers over the past 6, 7, 8 months. But the group just recognises that there's something to be done. So we do something. We grow food. We just use cash and we filter water and we spend time with each other and trying to help each other, you know, in a way that we can talk about what's on the internet all day. We can talk about news stories all day, but we actually talk about these news stories 2 hours a week.
Yeah.
These 2 hours now.
Yep.
I actually go on a Tuesday afternoon and maybe sometimes a couple of minutes, a couple of times through the week, bang up a few stories on Fightbook. People think I'm putting stories up on Fightbook for them. No, I'm not. No, I'm not at all. I'm putting them stories up so I can print them off on a Tuesday tea time. We can sit down and do the show. And guess what? Nobody comments on the news stories. Hardly anybody comments on the news headlines that I put up. And that tells me something very, very, very important. Fightbook is designed like a popularity contest, isn't it? It's an old-fashioned popularity contest, isn't it? And you want to be noticed. So you put things up on Fightbook that make you look interesting, curious, intelligent, funny, sexy, desirable. Or you make people curious about you. That's what people are doing. It's actually just a popularity contest. The fact that the news stories get totally ignored by the hundreds of people who could look at the things that I put up tells me that it's not about the news, is it? Now, the people I have on my Fightbook list are meant to be awake. But they don't comment on anything. And the comments that I do get are a little bit silly sometimes. It's a little bit silly. I actually remove one or two sometimes because it can cause quite a lot of aggravation. Somebody sets off with a, what are you putting that shit up for, or something like that. I take them off quite quickly because that just ends up with a thread of the original reason's gone completely.
Yeah,
now it's character assassination,
distraction. Yeah,
I mean, in the real world that we don't live in anymore, in the blurring of faction and fiction and fact, where ultra-high definition televisions are now on the way. Forget 3D, forget HD, forget whatever. Now we've got ultra-high definition TV. This is coming from Japan. It's going to be in for Wimbledon, if you're lucky enough to have ultra-high definition TV. I mean, how many TVs are we going to buy over... I mean, you have to buy a new one every bloody year now, don't you? But what I'm saying is, ultra-high definition TV, I can't remember the specs, don't need to remember the specs. But now the strapline is... You can't tell the difference between that picture and the one out the window. Well, we always knew we were going to get there.
We did.
Because we're going to prefer the one in the box.
We're going to prefer that one in
the
your
one
room.
outside the window.
Yeah.
Because we're actually building things. We're actually building things to confirm that for us, aren't we?
We certainly are.
This will be news story number 3.
Well, we like to weave in a little bit of what we think the future might bring, don't we?
And
we have done before.
We've done this before many times.
And we've asked guests, and they tend to skirt round that a little bit.
They just wait for us to shut up so they can carry on thinking it's their show.
Yeah, anyway.
The best thing about guests is, right, they never figure out that this is our show. Right, when we ask guests on, we want to be part of the conversation. But they think they want, the guests get the idea that we want them to fill the show for us. We don't. We want them to share our show.
Yep.
And it causes a little bit... It doesn't now so much because we don't bother with guests. Because they won't listen. They won't listen, will they? They just plough on with it. And we realised that we started re-recording shows, didn't we? We were doing shows that were already out there.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And we couldn't find any shows like ours that were out there.
No, we wanted
so
to
we
do
thought,
something a bit different.
Oh, this guest lad. If they want to come on, we'll have them on. But otherwise... But a glimpse into the future that makes perfect sense in Oceania.
It does,
now, because... Go on.
It's on Mail Online again. London's first town in a tower. The 784-foot skyscraper in Canary Wharf will have 822 homes. It'll have shops, a library, and even a cinema.
Yeah, it's because... I mean, that sounds great. It doesn't sound exactly brand new ideas. I mean, they built tower blocks with a with a shop complex at the bottom.
Yeah.
But now they're going to be inside.
Yes, they're going to.
So it's a new old idea.
A new old idea.
It's a brand new old idea, and I think it sounds okay.
Remarketing it, yeah.
Yeah, until you see the boxes.
Yeah, the size of the boxes.
Until you see the boxes. Now there's no specs there.
No.
But we know that these boxes
have got
are
smaller.
going to be single occupancy boxes.
Yeah.
They'll have enough room for a double bed, but not enough room to get 2 wardrobes in.
No.
You know these are going to be single occupancy boxes.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the tax rates are in London, but I guess it'll probably be at least about £1,000 for the council tax. So how many rooms is that? 822?
It says here
822.
822, yeah.
So that's £822,000 a year council tax
on 75 floors. Yeah.
That's £822,000 a year council tax. I bet they'll be building a few of them, won't they?
They will, yeah.
And then 50 years they'll be knocking them down again.
Knocking them down, yeah.
Just like they have been doing for the past
year.
Yeah,
just as
like
they have done.
Just like build them up, knock them down. They even look like sandcastles, don't they? Eventually, do you think they'll put little points and little spikes and little spires?
Yeah.
Do you think they might as well put a bloody a phallus on the top of them? We'll just call it a telephone mask. Mast. But they do, I mean, we build it up, knock it down, build it up, knock it down, don't we?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, that's what they do with societies all the time. Everything is an echo or a mirror of everything else.
Just another circle, another evolution.
Yeah, when somebody said everything's connected, it is. But everything's so connected that you can't pick one out without picking another out, without connecting that to that, to that, to that, to that.
Yeah.
And you realise that, did we actually create this? Or has it always been here, but they've hijacked it and hidden it from us?
Yeah.
This game of hide and seek continues. Of course it's a game of hide and seek.
Yeah.
If you go back far enough in history, it'll show you quite clearly that things of value we always fight wars over things of value, whether it be territory, resource, or even science or knowledge. And the war is fought, and then whatever it is that's been fought is kept by the victor.
Yeah.
And it's not for sharing.
No.
I mean, the people of this country are funding wars in Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq,
Sierra Leone.
The
list goes on.
Libya, who knows? We don't really know exactly what's going on around the world, and we don't profess to say we know, but we do know soldiers have been shipped out to those places.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with war, but that's not the argument I'm going to have here with anybody, because an argument's no good. It means someone's lost. They just don't know. When they're arguing, they've already lost.
Yeah.
Because the person they're arguing with just needs to now keep quiet, and they'll actually lose just by keeping talking. That's the skill. Is shut up when someone starts shouting, because you've already won. But the soldiers that are being sent around the world to represent the Crown's wishes, well, where's the spoils? Where's the... This is what we've won. It's not for us, is it?
No, but they sell it to us in that it's for our benefit.
I know.
That's how they do it, isn't it? We've fallen for it hook, line and sinker time after time.
Do you think we fall for it? Or do you think we actually just firewall it off? Because I don't think people are quite as stupid as we think they are. But it's a bit like that old dinner conversation etiquette, isn't it? You don't talk about politics, money, or religion. You don't do that in polite company. Okay, try and do that with your wife at home. She's more interested in getting all the jobs done and put her feet up.
just going back.
So who do you talk to her about? If you can't do it at a dinner party, and you can't do it at work, and they're closing the pubs down, and you've got no real pals anyway, because you haven't really. You know, what's a pal? Someone will be there when you need them. You'll find out if the pals are not when you need them.
Yeah,
and you'll have a little. But I've forgotten where we were.
We were on about the houses and getting smaller, and
they've got to get smaller so the kids can afford them.
Yes,
and the kids won't be able to afford them, by the way. But the parents will be remortgaging the house, and the parents will almost get to sell the house so they can help the kids buy a house before the health service takes it away from them. They change those rules as well. I mean, we call it a health service, but what do I actually term it as? It's actually a death management service, isn't it? Because it is managing our death.
Palliative
It's managing the Liverpool pathway to care.
Yeah.
The gentle descent of emptying your bank account, money box, and your children's futures. We gently just take that away, pretending to look after you and these angels that look after. I mean, there's some blooming lovely girls looking after these older people, you know. And if anybody collectively says these, I call them angels. There's some rotten ones I know. I know there is some rotten ones. The news story today about two of them caught fast asleep in a care home, switched all the emergency notifications. They're fast. I know, but the newspaper makes you think everybody's like that. Get out and live. Get out and contact people. Get out and speak to people. I'm very lucky. I've got a captive audience here of hundreds, sometimes thousands of people over a set period of time. And they know who I am, and they know what I'm going to do. I'm going to engage them, I'm going to talk to them. And I don't try and tell them this stuff. I find out what they're up to. We're not... The world's populated by bloody good people.
It is.
Run by a few bad people.
I've worked in the nursing homes. And it is the bad... Unfortunately, it's the bad buggers that run them.
Well, of course it is, because they're prepared to do what the management says.
They're the tight buggers.
But that's the idea. You see, you don't promote a worker...
No,
you don't promote a worker.
The workers are working for peanuts. They're on minimum wage and they're working shifts.
That's right. You don't promote the workers.
No, and that's all they do is telling the staff haven't done this, the staff haven't done the other, the staff haven't. But then the building needed money spending on it, and he wouldn't listen to what I had to pack it in the end because I couldn't be bothered with the idiot.
This is from last week. I mean, look at this. If you say to I mean, this is how numb they've got us, comfortably numb. We certainly are. Pink Floyd had that one right. General anaesthetic for over 65 raises risk of dementia by 35%. Now, they're blaming dementia on all sorts of things. Because it's becoming so commonplace.
Blaming it on the car fumes again now.
I was going to say, we've also got the car fumes and toxic fat. It'll be blamed on as many things as possible. So we accept dementia is now a normal part of getting old, if you're looking to get that far. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. But it hasn't been true previously, has it?
No.
I've got a lady that lives over the road from me, and I'm going to do an interview with her, and I think she says 90-something she is. And I think she's not quite sure herself. It doesn't matter. 90-something, and she has got... she's proper switched on. Some of the memories that aren't as clear as it could be, but when I go back to the 1930s and 1940s and get her talking, it might as well have been last year. Because that was her time. That was her life as she remembers it. How it was in the 30s, what happened in the 40s, what changed in the war. I can see the glint in her eyes at 90-odd years old. The smile on her face. And she said the war years were the best years of her lives because of the community and the people and the togetherness and the spirit. The real spirit. And you can she's living it when she's speaking it. You can hear it in her voice. She's back there right then when she's speaking. Dementia, what causes it? Well, whatever causes it didn't used to cause it.
Didn't used to do, no.
What's different? Nothing. Except vaccinations.
Well.
Vaccinations. You know, if you just Google it in the news item of Google, top scientist claims 80% of cancers are caused by vaccinations. But you show someone that.
Yeah,
and
I know.
They go, and nothing happens. You said general anaesthetic for over 65 raises risks of dementia by 35%. And there's no alternative to anaesthetic because they say there isn't. Because they say there isn't, you can't have an alternative. That's that then.
Yeah.
So I'm 65%, 65, 35, I'll risk it. Why would you do that? Look at these stories. Look at these stories. We've got them all over the place. You know, they're actually admitting now, again, you see, they've got to admit all these things. DNA from millions of newborn babies is secretly stored on NHS data. We've known this.
Yeah.
From 1984. They openly admit they've done it.
Yeah.
All right. Before 1984, I'll tell you now. Definitely before 1984. I mean, we're being told time and time and time again, aren't we?
Yeah.
How they're doing it, what they're doing, and still we don't react. There is some sort of dissonance that I can't actually work out what it is. But it doesn't stop us trying, does it?
No.
Every Tuesday we do this, live on Blog Talk Radio, 9 through around about 10:30, 11 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. Awake has been kind enough to carry the show live as well.
Thank you
so
to
thank
Awake.
you to everybody at Awake. I've only spoke to Steve, but I'm sure there's a few more people. I think Dave's involved and a few other people. We must get to talk to him a little bit more, but we don't bother with this so much.
No, but
people, I'm going to tell you that I get to contact hundreds and thousands of people over a week and two. I'm going to tell you, there's lots of good people out there, but if you're going to try and scare them into listening to you, they're not going to do it. You need to learn that they want to listen to what you've got to say. What did you just say? Where's that come from? You've got to light the fire. You know, if you claim to be a light, awake, enlightened, empowered, you can make those claims. You're just a candle. You're just a candle in the wind. Just like me. And just like you. Now, it costs nothing at all and takes no power from you to light another candle. So don't try too hard. Don't think you have to wake them all up. It doesn't work like that. You can wake them up, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you've got to stay friends with them all the way through.
Yep.
It is possible.
It is.
Don't give up, all right? This is the future that we're fighting for, not for me and you. It's for our children.
Yes.
There is no future if we don't fight for it. And they tell us time and time again, if you don't fight for it, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
They are thousands. We are millions. There is no doubt in my mind we can do this. When the time comes, you'll be challenged. You're going to stand up and be counted?
Yeah.
Or are you going to lick the hand that feeds you? The choice will always be yours. Only if you're brave enough, you've got the safety net and you've got the confidence to speak out. Because you do have to defend yourself, and the way you defend yourself is the words that you use.
Yeah.
It's the word, and if they're aggressive, antagonistic, rude, you've already lost. Until next week, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.